Good evening and welcome to The Fix at 6. Today, I'm going to be discussing three really important things when it comes to weight loss or changing our body composition. I think every single one of us at some point in our life want to change our body. You either want to be bigger, you want to be smaller, and I'm really going to be talking about today losing weight and dropping weight, changing that composition so we're more muscle and less fat. And if you've been down that journey before, it can be really frustrating. I know this because I work with clients every single day. We've helped people lose anywhere from 10 or 15 pounds all the way up to 75 pounds. And it's not easy. It takes some discipline to make the right decisions, but it also takes knowledge to know that you're doing the right thing. So, my intention tonight is to help clear this up for people so it can be less confusing, less frustrating, and you can understand maybe a couple of simple things that you're missing that can put you over the edge of losing weight or continuing to beat your head against a wall because you're working out and you're eating all the right things you think and not getting the changes that you want. So I'm going to cover three things tonight. And this first one is probably going to fly in the face of maybe what you've heard in the past or what you think. And that is eat more fat. And overall, we're going to talk about eating more calories in general, but especially fat. So I'm going to back this up a bit and then we're going to dive right into it because with fat itself, it has got a very bad rap and it was kind of villainized. And maybe you've heard before losing weight's as simple as calories in and calories out. So if we just have less calories going in and we're burning more, creating that deficit, which we hear a lot, you're going to lose weight. The fact of the matter is, yes, if I create a deficit and I'm supposed to take in 2,000 calories a day, we only take in 1,000, I am going to drop weight. However, that's going to be in a very unhealthy way. That is going to kind of rob my body from a lot of the nutrients that it needs to function properly. And this is not a sustainable diet or a sustainable way of living. Because what happens for most people, and maybe even you that's listening to me out there, is we go in that deficit. It's very hard to stick to that. It's not a fun diet or a way of eating that you enjoy. You do it for a while, you drop some weight, but then over time, you can't resist these foods that you really like and you're used to having. And then we slowly add them back into our diet and we go right back up in weight. And people continue to kind of yo-yo and go back and forth. And this is what I don't want to happen to people. So when this was kind of the theory years ago of it's as simple as creating the deficit. Well, when we figured out how calorically dense each food was, fat has the most what we call kilocalories per gram. Meaning if you set fat on fire, it has the most amount of energy. If you have a gram of fat, it's about 9 kilograms of kilocalories of energy compared to protein or a carbohydrate, which is 4. So it's a bit more than double. So fat got very villainized because it is calorically dense. So if the thought process is that we want to have less calories in because we're trying to create a deficit, then fat became the bad guy, because it has the most calories. And please understand that when I'm going to say eat more fat, I'm not saying all types. We want to have what we say good, healthy fats. What falls under that? That could be avocado, the fat that we get from a great steak, like an organic grass-fed ribeye that has nice marbling, it has fat inside of it. The ghee or grass-fed butter that we cook with. The oil, like an extra virgin olive oil or a coconut oil. So cooking our food with these fats, that's how we actually get great fat in our diet. I hope I've kind of cleared up the myth of fat. And now I want to explain why you have to have it and why you actually want to eat more fat than you think. When we coach our clients, we tell people to get 50% of the calories in each meal should come from good, healthy fats. If that sounds like a lot, it's really not that much because when we consider the meal itself, if I have 2 eggs and bacon and a half an avocado, that's a lot of fat compared to the makeup of that meal. Most of those calories come from fat, especially if I'm cooking those eggs in a grass-fed butter or an olive oil. So it's easy to get these fats, but I want you to really understand why it's important. And I use this example with my clients all the time. When we have a job, or we have money coming in, we have a stream of income, we can budget that money. We know how much we need to cover our overhead as a human. So our rent, our mortgage, our electric, our health insurance, life insurance, all the things that are reoccurring expenses that don't go away if you lose your income. So we need to know that we have enough to cover that to be able to decide what we should spend money on or invest money. So, what happens if we lose an income stream? The most immediate thing that happens is we put a spending freeze on, right? We're not going to spend any money. We're going to conserve it because you still have to cover that human overhead. You're still going to have to pay that rent or mortgage. You're going to have to pay your electric bill, your life insurance, your health insurance, all those things that I listed. So, you're going to conserve everything you have. And what are you going to do if a little extra money comes in? Say you go and mow your neighbor's lawn and they give you 20 bucks. Are you going to go blow that money? No, you're going to conserve that too. So think about that currency coming into your body just like fat, because that's exactly what it is. Fat covers a lot of overhead in our body. Every single cell in our body is made of fat. It's composed of a fatty membrane. Majority of our brain and what's in between this noggin in the bones in your skull is majority fat. And the organs in our body need fat. Cholesterol is fat and made of fat, and cholesterol creates hormones. So it covers a lot of overhead in our body. So when we lose that income stream, that consistent source of fat, what's your body going to do? Hold on to what it has. It's going to conserve. And what's it going to do when it gets a little bit of fat? Because your thought process is, I've been really good. I'm avoiding fat. I'm going to treat myself and have a little bit. Your body's going to hang on to that. So if you're this person that's been like, I can't lose these last 5 or 10 pounds, this stubborn fat, like, we can't get rid of it. It's because your body's in this conservation mode. You're not giving your body enough of it to prove that it should get rid of it. I hope that clarifies and gives you a good idea of why you need to have fat in your diet. So when it comes to getting it, we want to fill our diet with nuts, almonds, cashews, these good, healthy fats that add a good amount to us. We also want to make sure that we're eating these high quality meats. So organic, grass-fed meats, that's a good source of fats. And then what we prepare and cook our food in is another way to make sure that we're getting about 50% of those calories from fat. The second thing that I'm going to tell you is you need to eat enough protein. You need to prioritize having protein in your diet, because protein ultimately is for growth and repair. When we break down food, when we eat food, it goes to what I call the Home Depot of our body. So now, if I'm working out and I'm stimulating my biceps, I'm trying to grow them, and then my body, when I go to sleep, goes to repair them, but the product that I have is donuts, because that's what I've been eating, that's what's going to be on my Home Depot shelf. And that isn't what I want. I want to have muscle tissue. I want to have something that can be turned into a high quality muscle. So think of trying to rip a donut in half. That's easy. That's child's play. A kid can do that. Try to rip a steak, a salmon, or a piece of chicken breast in half. That's pretty difficult. And I'd be pretty impressed to see someone do it. It's pretty hard to grip onto that. That's what we want to be built of. Just like in chemistry, likes dissolve likes. Well, we want to be built of things like us. So when we're taking in these high quality proteins, we're giving our body a lot of what it needs to kind of grow our body. So when we're stimulating it through exercise, it can actually grow, but also to repair damage. So every time when I eat, I could have the healthiest diet in the world, but that creates damage as it goes down through my body, and this gets broken down through my intestines and through all the other systems. The other one, and the last thing I'm going to share, is we have to manage our stress. Hold on one second here. We need to manage our stress because, very similar to the first example that I shared about fat and it covering this overhead in our body, and when we don't have it, we get into the scarcity type mode. Well, when our body is stressed, what happens is we go into, maybe you're familiar with this, what's called fight or flight, or a sympathetic mode. Or we can exist in what's called parasympathetic, which is rest and digest on this other side. And of course, when it comes to breaking down food, we want to be in this rest and digest state. So I could have the best diet in the world. I could have the best exercise routine with the best trainer who motivates me, and I work out every single day like I'm supposed to. I'm doing all the right things. But if I'm really stressed all the time, my body is in this stress state. So the chemicals that are being released, the hormones that are being released are telling my body that we are in a state of survival and I should conserve everything I have. This is not a growth and repair time. And your body actually moves your blood flow as well as its priority to getting you to be able to mobilize. So whether you're fighting something off or you're running away, your body's going to do its best to put you into that survival state. So there's a few different ways that we can manage our stress. And if you follow me or you listen to me a lot, you've heard me say these a bunch, and they're so simple. It just comes down to having the discipline to remembering to do it and consistently put these into action. The first one when it comes to managing our stress that's so easy is just taking 6 deep breaths. So breathe in through your nose, out through your nose, slow and controlled. One that I like to use is called 6-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for 6, hold for 7, exhale for 8. The reason I do that is honestly, I will try to just do the deep breaths. I'll forget what I'm doing after 3 or 4. That sounds bad, but it's much easier to focus on that 6-7-8, 6-7-8, 6-7-8, because you're having an intention. It's also changing your brain's focus off of whatever you're stressed about to literally you're counting yourself breathing. So that's the first one. The second, get out, exercise. When we go into that stress state or fight or flight, that's a great response when it was us, fighting off something physically. But that response wasn't so much made for our current day culture. Sometimes we get stressed because we're in traffic, or you read a text or an email, or you see something on social media that makes you angry. And then we don't have that expulsion of energy to calm ourselves down. So when we can go out and exercise, actually like burning calories, doing something physical, using our body and breaking a sweat, that's going to really change that response quick. But if you can't get out and actually do a full workout, even a 10-minute walk is really helpful to help us kind of reset. There's one other one I was going to share. If you are unable to go out and walk, some of the other options, meditation, that's great for some people. As simple as what we call journaling. It doesn't have to be a journal you keep locked up under your bed, but simply taking a piece of paper and writing out, I'm upset because I've done every action set that I can do to help alleviate the scenario, whatever it is, crumple it up, throw it away. But now you've got that out of your brain, you've put it down on paper, and you can stop kind of ruminating on that. So that can be a really helpful strategy for people. Any type of exercise, whether this is Pilates, yoga, is going to be great. So finding an exercise thing that works for you. This could be going to the driving range and hitting golf balls, or getting out and playing around, something like that. But we want to make sure that we're managing our stress. So in summary, we try to put all these 3 things together. And what we went over was prioritize your protein. What that means is that in each meal, make sure you're choosing and accounting for a quality protein source and making sure that's a big priority for you. And if we have the protein, now cook it in fat, or make sure that there's a fat with it. So if I have a chicken breast, doesn't inherently have almost any fat, right? It's very lean, but I can still cook that in butter. I can cook it in olive oil. I can cook it in coconut oil. But I would also want to make sure the rest of that dish helps supplement it. So maybe I have half an avocado, because that meat or that protein itself doesn't have much fat. If I'm having a ribeye steak, that inherently has a lot more fat. If I cook that in butter, ghee, olive oil, coconut oil, then we can really bump that up. So prioritize your protein, add fat to it or cook it with fat, and then manage your stress. We need to be in a non-stress state so that our body can utilize what's coming in. If you can do all 3 of these things together consistently, I promise you that you'll make a change in your body composition. And if you don't, reach out to us and I will help you figure out the little piece that you're missing so we can make these changes. Next week, Dr. Sean Robeck will be speaking about more awesome health tips. So please join us every Wednesday for the Fix at 6. If you have any questions, send them to info@fixmedicalgroup.com. Our promises will get back to you within 24 hours, answer any question that you want, and we can set up a complimentary phone call and go over your own health scenario so we can find a path to the life you want to be living. I hope you enjoy this information, find it useful, and I can't wait to see you next time. Have a great night.